I heard the dogs growling before I even set foot outside. That low, rumbling kind of warning that makes your hair stand on end, like they just knew somebody was someplace they had no business being. I stepped out onto my back porch, coffee in hand, and there she was, Ellen Everhart, queen of the Lakewood Pines HOA, standing smack in the middle of my yard with a pair of bolt cutters and a chunk of my cedar fence lying at her feet, like she'd just bagged a trophy. She hadn't spotted me yet, too busy admiring the lake, the one patch of peace I worked my tail off to afford. Let me back up a second. I'm Trevor Langston, former Marine, now stuck doing remote IT support. I bought this house for the lake, plain and simple. Private property, crystal clear on the deed, but apparently Ellen never met a no trespassing sign she couldn't ignore. Every HOA meeting she'd circle back to my shoreline. Wouldn't it be lovely if the whole neighborhood could enjoy the lake, Trevor? She'd flash that smile, the one that never quite reached her eyes, and I'd tell her the same thing. It's mine, Ellen. Deed's not up for debate. So there she is, tools in hand, ready to claim. What's not hers? I leaned on the porch railing and called out. Lose something, Ellen? She jumped, tried to slap on a pleasant smile, waving those bolt cutters around like a baton. Oh, Trevor. I was just, inspecting the property line. Yeah, with industrial tools, sure. HOA board voted for lake access, so your fence had to go. She really said that. I set my mug down and gave a short whistle. Brutus and Shadow, my two German shepherds, trotted out from behind the shed, hackles up, quiet but definitely making their presence known. Ellen took a step back so fast, she almost tripped over her own handiwork. Trevor, you can't sick dogs on HOA officials, she yelped. They're not sizing anything, I told her. They're patrolling my property, the one you just broke into. Brutus gave her a sniff and a growl for good measure. I'm going to report this, she snapped, voice already wavering. Please do. Cameras, deed, criminal trespass law. Take your pick, Ellen. Her eyes darted from me to the dogs to the porch, then she bolted out through the busted fence. Brutus watched her go, sitting back down with that look only a dog can give, like, well, that was entertaining. I figured that would be the end, but when Deputy Raines pulled up about 20 minutes later, it was clear Ellen wasn't going quietly. Raines had that look of a man who'd seen one too many HOA disputes, took his sweet time getting out of the cruiser, and glanced at my fence like he wanted to be anywhere else. Morning, Trevor. Got a visitor, huh? You could say that, I said, handing him a folder, photos, property lines, even the highlighted criminal codes. He just nodded, flipping through. You planning to press charges? Absolutely. He crouched, checked the fence, and then looked at the camera pointed right at the cut. You got her on video? 3 angles, high def, and clean audio. For a second, he almost smiled. This is felony. Vandalism, not some neighborly tiff. If she's using her position, that's abuse of authority. Could even be civil conspiracy if the board's in on it. That made me pause. Civil conspiracy? Raines took my drive, told me to expect her attorney to call, and warned, don't engage. Let your lawyer do the barking. Good advice. That afternoon, after patching the fence with chain link and putting up a new camera, the neighbor Grapevine went nuts. Phil from across the street called out while we grabbed the trash bins. Heard Ellen tried to liberate the shoreline. My wife saw her running out of your yard looking like she saw a ghost. I laughed, more like 2 big shepherds. Then he leaned in. You're not the first she's tried to strong-arm. Last year she fined the Harrisons for their own boat trailer, made up the rule, blocked their appeal. Noted. The next morning, I filed an injunction with the county. No more funny business from the HOA, not without court approval. My lawyer, Colonel David Rourke, retired JAG, steely as they come, called me up, flipping through the scanned HOA charter. She's rewriting rules without votes, bypassing board amendments. That's unlawful. She's opening herself up to a world of hurt. That's when a light bulb went off. What about HOA finances? I reached out to Karen Wu, the old treasurer who'd quit last quarter. Turns out she'd saved every sketchy transaction. Landscaping contracts for phantom companies, fake security patrols, even a reimbursement for a study nobody ever saw. Would you testify? I asked. She hesitated, then said, if I'm subpoenaed, yes. Good enough. I didn't have to wait long. 2 days later, I found a white envelope stuck to my door, a cease and desist from the HOA's lawyers, accusing me of creating a hostile environment with my aggressive animals. I handed it to Rourke. Textbook deflection, he said. They're panicking. We countered by gathering statements from neighbors, people who'd been fined, harassed, denied appeals. Compiled it all. Then, just before the hearing, someone tried to break into my garage. The lights snapped on. They ran, but left a crowbar and a clipboard with the HOA logo. Deputy Raines came by himself. This is either intimidation or someone looking to destroy evidence, he said. I filed for an emergency protective order. The judge granted it the same day. Then an anonymous package landed in my mailbox, a USB labeled Board Minutes Private. On it, a recording from a closed meeting, Ellen's voice clear as day. If we can't get Trevor to comply, we'll make him regret it. Noise complaints, code violations, paperwork, make his life hell. When I played it for Rourke, he just shook his head. She just handed us her own noose. The courtroom was tense. Nobody spoke above a whisper. Judge Mullally didn't suffer fools. Rourke said, "Let the evidence speak." The recording played. When Ellen's voice dripped with malice, the judge stopped the audio. "Is that your voice, Ms. Everhart?" After a second, Ellen nodded. First domino down. Then Karen took the stand, showed proof of fake companies and embezzled funds. Deputy Raines testified about the break-in, the evidence, and here's the kicker. The fingerprints from the crowbar matched Ellen's nephew, who just so happened to be listed as a community liaison with the HOA, though no such role existed. By the end, the judge extended protective orders, ordered a full audit, and the county prosecutor filed charges: criminal mischief, conspiracy, embezzlement. Ellen's attorney posted bail, but she was finished. The interim board, Harold Green, old school, honest, was appointed. Every one of Ellen's citations was voided. People hugged in the street. No more violation notices, no more strangers with clipboards. But the audit uncovered something even uglier: shell companies, fraudulent invoices, and a scheme to force buyouts on lakefront homes, all traced back to Ellen. The DA's office indicted her on wire fraud, conspiracy, and falsifying records. When they raided her place, they found a burner laptop with spreadsheets mapping out targeted enforcement zones. My property, in red. Yeah, that happened. The trial became front-page news, but I skipped the drama. Instead, I helped neighbors rebuild, painted fences, fixed up the block. One afternoon, Vanessa, a new neighbor, stopped by. "Thank you," she said, "for not backing down. My mom was terrified of the HOA. You changed things." She handed me an envelope, an invite to chair the oversight committee. "I'm not a politician," I told her. "That's exactly why they want you," she smiled. Weeks later, the whole neighborhood gathered at the community center. Harold stood up, read the vote, supermajority for dissolving the HOA. People cheered, hugged, drank iced tea. For the first time in years, it felt like a community again. That night, I sat on my porch, Brutus at my feet, Shadow keeping watch, the lake quiet as glass. For once, the wind sounded peaceful, not like trouble brewing. Maybe that's what victory feels like, not in the headlines or the court documents, but in the quiet you earn, the kind nobody can take from you. So here's my question. Where do you stand on all this? Was I right to fight back, or did it go too far? Tell me below, because I know this isn't just my story. It's happening everywhere. Let's hear it.